Welcome back to day 2 of our Barossa Valley weekend. Today we're switching things up and taking on a DIY cycling winery tour through one of Australia's most iconic wine regions. We'll be stopping off at some of the best wineries in Barossa, breaking down the exact costs, must-know info, and giving you my honest, no-filter opinions on each stop so you can plan this exact trip yourself. It's shaping up to be an unreal day of wine, views, and good vibes. So pour a glass, enjoy, and let's get into it. Good morning from the Mercure Barossa. We've just gone to rent our bikes from the hotel and they cost us $50 each. So there's one and there is Beth's too. So that's going to be $100 for the day. They have actually increased the price to $60 if you want just a normal bike, and then the electric bike is even more expensive. I'm not actually too sure how much that is, but we're going to be heading over to our first winery now, and that is the Artisans of Barossa. We've just arrived at our first stop, the Artisans of Barossa, which was about a 5-minute ride from the hotel. This is a really cool spot because it brings together a bunch of different Barossa winemakers into one cellar door. It's ideal if you want to try a few different styles without bouncing between the different wineries. So let's head in and see what they've got. So we've come inside of the Artisans and it's beautiful, really nice and modern, and you also get great views over the vineyard if you want to sit outside too. But we're doing the tasting, so you have to sit on the inside, and we've got the choice of either doing the original tasting or you can also do the finest tasting, which has the wines on the back. So the original one costs $25, so that's the one that we're doing, and it's also got beer, they've got ciders, and they've got paddles, which you can do too, which are like 4 different wines. But the first one we're trying is the sparkling. So this is the Artisans Blanc de Blanc. And the reason it's Artisans is because it's actually a blend of all 7 of the winemakers here, and they've blended it into this one wine. So let's give our first wine of the day a try. So cheers to that. That's actually quite a nice one, to be fair. That's an easy drink, and I could probably drink that one all night. With the wine tasting, you get to try 6 different wines. And what's quite funny is Beth and I have completely different tastes. So you might be able to notice on here all the different letters. And that basically, I've got the complete opposites to Beth, so we could never really share a bottle, which isn't ideal. But the next one, Beth has got herself a Riesling, and I've got myself a Grenache. So let's see what this one's like. That one's really nice, definitely above the first one, so I'll give that one a solid 8.5 and we'll give this first one an 8. Next up is the Chardonnay. So Beth's got herself a Fiano, which is pretty cool, and it apparently has a bit of a banana taste to it too, and she doesn't like banana, so I'm looking forward to trying that one. But let's give the Chardonnay a quick try. You said it'd be quite creamy. I do quite like it, to be fair. I'd say the first one is at the bottom, then this one, then the second one. So I'll give this one an 8.3. So next up for me is a rosé. Beth's obviously still on the whites because she doesn't like the reds, so I'll be moving on to reds after this. But she's got, again, a Riesling from Artisans, so it's again a blend of the 7 different wineries. And I've got a Chaffee Bros, which you may have heard of because it is quite a big one in the UK too, but it looks really nice. It's made up of 2 grapes, and we'll give it a try and see what we think of this one and whether it's going to be better than any of the others. That one smells really good. Tastes pretty good too. I'm probably going to even it out with the top one at 8.5. So next up, we have got the rosé for Beth, and I have my first red, which is the Malbec. So this one's pretty cool. Looks quite beachy, and apparently they hold an event here every year where they actually serve this one, and they put like sand out on the lawn and stuff. So that's quite a cool little feature to that. And then this one, you might notice the same sort of logo as a previous one. So the owners of this winery actually used to be pig farmers, hence why they put a pig on all of their bottles, and they are actually some of the best pigs apparently in Australia. They won loads of awards, and this one was actually named after one of the pigs. So we're going to give it a try. It's meant to be medium-bodied, earthy, but also quite zingy at the same time with the pomegranate. It's quite zingy. I'd say this is the worst one, but it's not a bad red, to be fair, because I'm usually not a massive fan of reds. So I'll give this one probably, what's the lowest so far I've given is an 8, so I'll give it probably a 7. And we've now made it to our final wine. So Beth's again gone for another rosé. She's not going to adventure into the reds, unfortunately, but we have got ourselves another red. This time it is the Shiraz, which is actually by John Duval, and John Duval actually used to work for Penfolds. So if you know your wine, you'll probably know Penfolds is a huge company, but he's split off from them now, and he now does his own wines. So we'll see what his red Shiraz is like. Phew. That one's a lot heavier than the previous wine, which I just tried. It smells really good though. I think that's the issue with red. I love the smell of them, but probably not the taste as much. So I'll probably give that one slightly less. So we'll go for a 6.5. So we've just finished now with the Artisans Winery, and I definitely recommend going there and doing a tasting. They're really good, telling you all about the different wines. But now it's time to head back onto the bike. Next up is Chateau Dorrien, and apparently it has got some really tasty wines. It is French inspired, and you get really good views over the winery and also of this sort of castle thing. So we're gonna have to ask about that, because I'm not too sure what these castles are actually here for, or whether it's just for design, but you get beautiful views over the winery in the background. So let's head inside and give some wines a try. We've just finished our wine tasting and it tasted incredible. Some of the best white wine I have ever had. So I'm actually going to be buying a bottle of it tomorrow. It's called the Lake Harvest. Definitely got to give it a go if you do come to this winery. And now we're taking a look around the building. So all of these are old concrete vats, which have now got murals on. They don't use these anymore to make the wines, but they've basically decorated them all, and it all looks really cool. And it's so cheap as well. So we did the tasting. It's usually $5 to taste a few different wines, so very cheap. But because we're coming back tomorrow to buy a bottle of wine, she said you can have them for free. So we've not paid for the tasting. We tried to offer her some money, but she didn't want any of it. And this is lovely old lady basically that runs the whole winery. All the grapes are grown somewhere else and they're made somewhere else, but then they bring them to this chateau, which is beautiful. So definitely recommend coming here, giving the wines a try, because it's some of the best I've ever had. We have now finished at Chateau Dorrien, and we learned a little bit more about the history of it too whilst we were in there. They've got loads of boards telling you all about it, and apparently they actually bought this winery from Seppelt family, which you may know from the previous vlog, and that was back in 1984, which is a huge company, and now they're a very small independent company. And what we learned as well is that all of these vineyards in the background, they're not technically the wineries, so this is probably one massive company that grows all these grapes and then sells them to all of the different wineries. So that was really interesting to know about too. I've got a fly which is bugging me in the face right now. But we also learned that these here were big vats of wine. However, now they are disused, so they are abundant. And this is a really independent winery, so I definitely recommend coming in, just giving them a little bit of support too. And they don't grow too many wines, so there's not that much to try, but the wines which we tried were amazing. So now it is time to go for lunch to a wine bar, which hopefully isn't too far from here. And that was a really nice cycle to Anguston. So basically they've got an old railway line and they've changed it into a cycle path. So that was really good fun. And it's really nice and easy to cycle. No cars around either, so it is very safe. And it only took us about half an hour to get here, which isn't too bad at all. But we've now arrived at the Wanera Wine Bar. So we've got our food and we've also got a couple of drinks too. I've just gone for the Sprite, and so has Beth, because our mouths were super dry cycling over here through the wine. But obviously with it being a wine bar, you can get some wine here if you would like. But what have you got for food? That is the question. Beth has got ourselves a vegan salad, which looks really nice, very fresh and healthy. Then I've got myself 2 of the starters to sort of share, but it looks like it's quite a lot, so Beth's probably going to have some of this one. But we've got the double dips, duo dips, so one's like a cheesy dip, and the other one is beetroot, and then we've also got ourselves some garlic bread. So I'll let you know what it is all like. It came to about $65, so not too expensive either, and it's sort of like pub vibes. You can sit outside in the garden. We're sort of half in, half out, so I'm outside and Beth is in, but it's a nice little breeze, beautiful day today. It's quite warm cycling, but once you sit down, it is fine. So we've just arrived at the next one, which was First Drop Wines, and unfortunately it is closed. So we did get here about 15 minutes before closing time, but do be wary that they do close fairly early. So most of them close between sort of 4 and 5 p.m. So after that, they are not open. So definitely plan around that, because if you don't and you're expecting to have wines and stuff in the evening, then you'll get caught out. So just a 2-minute cycle from the previous winery, and we've arrived at Kaesler Wines, which is another iconic one here in Barossa, and it is known for its bold red wine. So we're gonna have to give at least one of those a try. And we've just finished up at Kaesler, and it is now 5 p.m. So in terms of the number of wineries you can do in one day, I'd probably say 4 is maximum. You may be able to fit one more in. If you want to rush it, then you can probably fit a 5, maybe 6. But if you just want to take it nice and chilled, enjoy the drinks, then probably 3 or 4. The wines, though, were really tasty. You got to try loads of different ones, and they actually had like one of the Magnum bottles which they brought out because it had a little bit of spillage on the labels. They said, oh, try this Magnum from 2021 and compare it to the 2022, which was really interesting, and that was the Bogan. And that was actually pretty tasty compared to all the reds which I've had. And we actually got to try our first sparkling Shiraz, which was really nice, especially compared to the reds, which are usually like quite heavy, quite hard to drink, best with like meats and pizzas and stuff like that. This one's perfect for a day like today where it is boiling. And we had a look and it was like 31 degrees right now. So it is pretty warm on the bike. So that was just what we needed. But now we're going to head back to the hotel. So I'm going to leave a list of wineries in the description below because there's so many here that while you're cycling along, you're going to stop off at different ones. But I'll leave a list of the ones which we researched and thought these are the best ones for what we wanted to do today, and then we just picked them at random sort of as we cycled around and saw different ones. But we did 3 completely different ones as well. So the first one was obviously the mixture of the 7 different wines. The second one, which was in the castle, was really cool. That was like a really old and very sweet wines, tasted completely different to the first one. And then the last one, sort of a more well-known, they taste really good, and the vineyards are really old too. But now it's time to head back to the hotel. We'll freshen up and then we'll head out this evening. So we've got changed, ready for the evening. It's about 6 p.m. right now, and they've actually got going on here a vintage car show in Tanunda. So take a look at some of those cars. And I'll have much more when we go inside, but it does explain why we saw loads of vintage cars yesterday. So let's go inside and take a look. And it's on the way to our restaurant as well, so we just got really lucky by the looks of it. For food this evening, we have come to Mike's, which is like a burger place on the end of the street, and it was so busy walking down the street looking at all the cars. It was funny just how big a difference it was from yesterday when it was super quiet. But I've got myself the halloumi burger, which looks really good. Beth's got herself a vegan burger. And then we've also got some chips to share. I'm not too sure how much yours came to. I also got a beer and Beth got a Coke. So I'll let you know how much yours does come to after we have finished. But let's get a chunk out of this burger. That is a very good burger. We actually recommended this place by someone at the winery. So good on earth. It's definitely a very good recommendation. And now we are back here in the Mercure Barossa. So what an amazing day we have had. So starting off with the bike tour, I highly recommend renting a bike. Now the reason for this is if you drive, then obviously one of you can't drink. And then also if you get the tour buses, they are way more expensive. So highly recommend renting the bike. Also, depending on your fitness, you can either go really far or you can just stay nice and local, because the street from Tanunda all the way to Nuriutpa is full of wineries. There's so many, it's probably 6, 7, maybe even 8 wineries just on that one street, and it's about a 15-minute cycle there and back. So nice and easy. Or you can go all the way to Angaston like we did, and that is a 30-minute cycle, but it's on a really nice cycle path with lots of vineyards surrounding you. And then it was really cool to see all of the vintage cars this evening, because we didn't expect that at all and it wasn't planned, but there was the vintage car event on, which was really cool. And also the Mike's restaurant, I highly recommend going there. Really nice burgers, and if you're vegan too, that is a good spot, because there's not too many vegan options in and around the area. But if you have got this far, you must have enjoyed this video, so I would appreciate it if you like the video, and also subscribe if you are new. We've got plenty of vlogs on the channel, and if you did enjoy this one, you should actually go and check out yesterday's, where we went and explored Seppeltsfield, had a really nice lunch on the estate too, and there was also Palm Avenue, which was a really cool area as well. Or you can go check out all of the other vlogs in the worldwide vlog playlist, which has them from all over the world. Tomorrow is going to be our final day here in Barossa, but it should be a good one. So I'll see you all tomorrow with another vlog.